Hello guys, and today I will be doing a what if scenario. What if the indoraptor was transported in right before the events of Jurassic World? What would actually transport the what if the indoraptor and the indominus rex actually met? Wow, this is all spoilers, this is just speculation. I have no idea what would actually happen. This is just my personal opinion. This is all just my personal opinion on what would happen. So buckle up and let's get straight into the video. Now, it all starts with the Indoraptor quietly being transported into the Indominus Rex enclosure, with the Indoraptor's echolocation being able to detect the Indominus Rex before the Indominus Rex can. And then boom, this can go one of two scenarios. The first scenario is that the Indominus Rex easily kills the Indoraptor, because the Indominus Rex teeth were capable of shattering bulletproof glass, and since the Indoraptor's skin is bullet resistant, the Indominus Rex would have no problem slashing through the Indoraptor and dealing serious damage. But there's the other outcome. But if it was just that, boom, this video would already be done. But let's go. But let's just say the Indoraptor actually listens to the Indominus, and they both plan their escape. Since the Indoraptor can just climb the trees and hop over the wall, the Indoraptor would have. And since the Indoraptor is intelligent enough to open doors, it will most certainly be able to open the Indominus Rex enclosure. And by the time they realize the Indominus Rex is gone, it'll be too late. It'll be too late. It'll already be too late. The Indominus Rex will have already escaped. And then fast forward to the raptor sequence, where it all plays out the same, but the humans get even more demolished. And we all know Owen and Barry would survive because of, well, plot armor. So we all know Owen and Claire would survive because they both have plot armor. And then we move into the final battle, where basically where blue which basically blue in where basically blue and another raptor will fight the Indoraptor. Meanwhile, two more will basically fight the Indominus Rex. And then boom, this is when Rexy comes out. The exact same thing happens, but instead of Blue's siblings dying to the Indoraptor, they actually survive. And then the Indoraptor and the Indominus Rex know that they're outnumbered, so they just went out into the forest. And then boom, the events of Camp Cretaceous happens. And then the two idiots from season 2 show up. They ultimately died to the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor. And we all know the campers will survive because they have a ton of plot armor. Like seriously, any other character, if that was me in that series, I would have been dead in the first 5 seconds. I'm just saying. But back to the video, the Indoraptor and the Indominus Rex. In the Indominus Rex, basically, they slowed down their killing because they would have known that if they kill too fast, there will be little to no food left. So, They would still cause havoc, but nowhere near as much havoc. Instead of just letting the bodies rot, they would have actually eaten the bodies. And then boom, the events of season 3 of Camp Cretaceous comes, and the Scorpius Rex gets released somehow. And then it's inevitable that at least one Scorpius Rex will encounter the Indominus Rex in Indoraptor. This could also go one of two ways. One, the Scorpius Rex listens and bows down to the Indominus Rex in the Indoraptor. Or option two, the Scorpius Rex will just go berserk and start attacking them to ultimately lead to one of its death. But let's just say the Scorpius Rex didn't. Let's just say the Scorpius Rex bowed down to the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor. Let's just say that's the canon would have. Let's just say that's the canon outcome. And then boom, they all have a pack. With the Indominus Rex leading, the Indominus Rex would have taught the Scorpius Rex not to hunt very fast. And then the other one will end up attacking the campers, and the other one will ultimately die. But knowing that one will remain still frightens me. And then the events season 4 and 5 remain the same, just will still remain the same, so will just remain the same. And then the events of Fallen Kingdom happen, where they basically just capture the Indominus Rex, and then the Indoraptor and the Scorpius Rex as well, because why the heck not? And then boom, this ultimately leads to the creation of the White Indoraptor. The White Indoraptor. And then the exact same thing happens with the White Indoraptor as the Black Indoraptor. And then, boom. The rest of the movie of Fallen Kingdom, like in between the opening sequence in the scene with the Indoraptor, ultimately remain the same, just except the only change is that they're a little bit more paranoid because they know that the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor might be out there. But they ultimately don't encounter them. Now, once we get into the herding release, since they thought the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor were dead, they just let all the dinosaurs out, not knowing that the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor just died. Not knowing that the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor survived. And plus, with one more extra member, aka the Scorpius Rex, things ultimately get worse from here. And then the events of Dominion happen, where basically the Indominus Rex, Scorpius, and Indoraptor ultimately defeat the Giga, because it's 3 against 1. And then the exact same events of Dominion happen, but replace the Giganotosaurus with the Indominus Rex, along with the Scorpius and Indoraptor. And then boom, we get into the final battle. Now let's get into a few casualties of the main cast. Like we all know that the Indoraptor and the Scorpius Rex can climb, but Jeff Goldblum would be the first to die, because the flare might work for the Indominus and the Scorpius, but it most certainly won't work on the Indoraptor. So the Indoraptor kills them. Then the Indoraptor and the Scorpius Rex start climbing, and they instantly close. But then they forgot that the Indoraptor can open doors. But we all know most of them survive because of plot armor. And then boom, the fight with Rexy and Indominus starts. And it's basically the exact same ending of Fallen of Dominion, but instead of Therizinosaurus and T-Rex, it's Therizinosaurus, T-Rex, and Spino. Because why the heck not at the Spino to make the final battle more interesting? But ultimately, the Indominus Rex dies, leaving the Indoraptor and the Scorpius Rex to run into the jungle. And then we get into the events of Rebirth, and the events of Rebirth basically stay the same. Basically stay the same. Along with the events of Chaos Theory also stay the same. But in Season 5, the Giganotosaurus is replaced with the Indominus Scorpius and Indoraptor. And then boom, that's the end. I hope you all like this prediction video. Once again, this is all my personal opinion. Let me know what y'all guys think in the comment section below. Did I do a little bit overkill? I'm sure it's fine. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps me and it helps others find this type of content. Anyways,